Hello, and welcome back to another Let's Play of some Low Design Contest Lows. So we are on Low Design Contest number 25 with 3 brand new rule sets. I'm KYN, and I'll be the host of this video series that I'll be recording. So, there has been a change here, and that is I have solved all the contest lows, but instead of doing a live playthrough, I've instead solved all the lows off camera, and then I'm just going to simply record and show off my solutions to the lows. Mostly because my time is very, very limited these days, and especially since I was working a job during that entire time. I just recently finished my final day of work, and so I'm officially on summer break. But even then, I don't expect this to be changing anytime soon. I have thought long and hard about it, and I am almost certain that I will not be doing any more live playthroughs of future contest lows, but rather instead I'll just be solving them off camera. And then once I get all the lows solved, I'll be essentially just recording my solutions and with some commentary. Yeah, while the solution is being shown. So yes, unfortunately, sorry to upset you guys, but yeah, I think I'm past that point now where I'm just not going to bother with solving the lows in real time on camera, just because yeah, like I said, my time is very, very limited, and in a way, I kind of don't have the motivation like I used to. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what's going to be happening going forward and everything. But in any case, yeah, I'll still be around recording videos for the contest lows, yeah, and showing off my solutions. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. What is changing is just simply the format that I'm going to be using. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video series now. So right now we are going to be doing Rule 1. And we are starting off with Rule 1-1. Insert coin, choose lemming. So this is by Armani. And for this rule, essentially, we need to make a level with a certain number of pre-placed lemmings. And the catch here is that each lemming can only have a maximum of 2 permanent skills. And the permanent skills need to be distributed in such a way so that no 2 lemmings share the same permanent skills. And so essentially the permanent skills that you do use, that essentially determines how many lemmings you can use in the low you make. But anyway, yeah, this is Armani's. So I'm going to go ahead and load the replay here. And this is Rule 1-1. Yes, so here we start off with a regular pre-placed lemming, yeah, who doesn't have any permanent skills. And then the ones that do have permanent skills, they're essentially are blockers in these solid color blocks. And yes, I really like the way that Armani essentially labeled them. So there's a lemming floater sprite here, and then a lemming disarmor, a lemming slider, and a lemming climber. So what that means is that from left to right, you have a pre-assigned floater, a pre-assigned disarmor, a pre-assigned slider, and a pre-assigned climber. Regarding this low, yeah, I certainly found this a bit difficult, but it's certainly not one of the hardest lows in the entire contest collection pack. But yeah, even then, it still took me some time, yeah, before I got this solved. But it's certainly nowhere near the hardest though. So, the first lemming that we release here is that we're going to use the pre-placed normal lemming to bomb the pre-assigned floater free. Yes, so he's going to be first to forge the path. So he can make the drop down safely here because he's a floater. Yes, and then here I give him a shimmer so that he can get over here. So he stops over here, and then he makes his way up the lattice, goes out to the left. And then we're going to go ahead and platform here. Yeah, so that any future lemmings that we release, they can essentially just use a shimmer to drop down safely onto the platform bridge down here. So yes, he just drops down, and then he just makes his way over to the right. And yes, this is the teleporter that we'll be using, so that we can get back into the starting area to release more lemmings later on. But for now, we need to go ahead and platform here. And we're going to go ahead and stack here. So essentially, this was a pretty difficult part to see. Before I saw, or I did this, I essentially tried other things, such as like maybe platforming around here, and but essentially, by doing that, I ran into problems with like the climber. Basically how to get him back up later on, and that just ends up using too many skills. So yes, instead the answer is to platform it and stack right here. So he's just going to turn around and go into the teleporter and pop out here. And then next, I believe it is the disarm. Nope, it's the climber. I can't even remember which lemmings I released after. So yes, we give him a shimmer so that he goes over to the right and then drop onto the platform bridge. But then he's going to go ahead and climb over the wall here. And yes, some rapid fire skill assignments here. So after he climbs up high enough, then we give him a jumper. And then in the brief moment that he is still climbing the stack, then we need to assign him a jumper again so that he gets up here. And then while climbing, we give him a shimmer so that he goes along here. So now he's over the top. And then he's going to go ahead and turn back to left and platform up this gap. Yeah, one platformer bridge is enough. And then he's going to go into the teleporter. Yeah, now I believe the next one should be the disarmor. Essentially, I think here, yeah, I think it's pretty clear that at the very beginning, though, it's either the slider or the floater that needs to go first. But if you look around in the low, though, essentially, this part right here was pretty much like almost a quick giveaway that the slider has to be the one to go to the exit. Yeah, essentially, you try any other lemming. Yeah, there's really like no easy and efficient way for them to reach the exit. Yeah, but the slider is the most efficient. So therefore, after you eliminate the slider as a possibility to go first, yeah, then the only one left is to that it must be the floater that goes first. But anyway, yeah, back to the solution itself. Yeah, we release the disarmor now, so he goes ahead and then shimmies up here. So he's going to turn back to the left and disarm this trap here. And yes, there are some secondary animations here. Yes, thank goodness, because this makes the trap in the cloud tiles much easier to spot. And it won't be mistaken for like solid terrain. Yeah, this essentially is like the trigger area. So yes, so he just simply disarms these two traps, and then now he's just going to use the teleporter to get back into the starting area. Oh no, not yet, I'm sorry. We need to shimmy over first, over the teleporter, because he needs to disarm this trap and also platform up this gap. Yeah, now he will walk into the teleporter. Yep, back to the starting area, and finally, all that's left to do is to release the slider. So yes, the slider is the other one that can get down here safely, yeah, without needing any other skills. However, he's not going to go all the way down. Instead, once he's down low enough, we're going to go ahead and jump, and then shimmy using the platformer bridge, the underside of it. Yeah, this gets him past the trap here so that he doesn't get killed. Yeah, in any case, there wasn't any way for the disarmor to get here. But it is possible for the slider to avoid it, yeah, by jumping it and shimming over. And then, yes, here, he's going to go down here. And then over here, we're going to give him a shimmer so that he makes his way across over here. And yes, he avoids this trap here as well. Yeah. It's a fire trap. And then finally, one more shimmer to get to the exit, and that's it. And yes, this wall right here and the steel block, they're essentially lined up perfectly. However, after sliding, the slider goes inside 1 pixel. So therefore, he is able to get on land. And that's it. So quite a nice level to start off the pack here. And a very nice Route 1 level by Armani there. I really like the way that the solution is forged by different lemmings in different areas. Yeah, so that's pretty much like one of the nice things about it. Now, Route 1-2, Infiltration by DireKrow. Okay, this one I found to be surprisingly difficult. This one, it looked easy, but yeah, there were actually plenty of things that actually caught me off guard here. So here at the start, we have 4 pre-placed lemmings. Yeah, the one in the front is a pre-assigned disarmor. Next one after that is a pre-assigned swimmer. Next one after that is a pre-assigned climber. And the next one is a pre-assigned, I think it's a glider. Yeah, it even says so too. Yeah, it's a glider. Alrighty, so like I said before, yeah, this was not easy to figure out how to distribute the lemmings here. Yeah, through the top and also the bottom. Yeah, there were plenty of things that I tried here, but a lot of them just ended up failing. And I gotta say that even with just 4 skill types, yeah, essentially the way that the skills were used were not obvious at all. Like this water gap here, for example. Yeah, it definitely seems to scream out, use the climb at the platform over it, but it turns out that it's just simply a red herring. Yeah, that you just don't go over there at all. But yes, so with the pre-assigned disarmor, I go ahead and give him a shimmer. Yeah, so that he can make his way up the top half. And then next one to do that is the glider as well. Yeah, a little further back, so as to give the disarmor enough time to platform up this water gap. Yeah, the other two will use the bottom here. There's pre-assigned swimmer and the pre-assigned climber. So the swimmer can just drop down safely. Yeah, the water is used to break his fall there. Well, even then, this fall is not fatal. So with the pre-assigned climber, he's going to go ahead and platform over so that he reaches over land and doesn't hit the water and drown. Yes, and then I also platform up this water gap with the pre-assigned swimmer. So as I mentioned before, platform up the gap with the pre-assigned disarmor. Yep, so the climber drops down safely, and he's going to climb up over the wall here. And then for here, we're going to go ahead and give the pre-assigned glider a shimmy, I believe. Yes. This armor in the meantime will disarm this trap. And then, yes, the climber that reaches up here will dig down the pillar. And then the pre-assigned disarmor will dig down here. The glider will just simply turn back and just make another round here. And yes, the pre-assigned disarmor just goes into the teleport and pops back out here. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and platform at this gap, and he'll finish in time before the climber. Oh, it does. It's a swimmer. Sorry. So it doesn't really matter if the swimmer gets into the water, but in any case, I platform up the gap because this is a climber and he cannot swim, so therefore he has to. Yeah, the glider goes past the teleporter and goes over here and hits that button. Yes, and then he's just going to go glide and reach down here and go into the teleporter here. Yes, in the meantime, the pre-assigned disarmor has made his way down here. Yes, and the climber just goes over the top here, who will reach this button. Yes, this glider has to turn around because there are 5 laser traps waiting for him. So therefore, we don't want to bash through the pillars here. In the meantime, I bash through the pillar here with the disarmor. Yeah, it has to be him because he needs to disarm this trap. So this last button gets pushed, so now the exit is unlocked. And yes. So essentially the disarmor is close enough to the swimmer that he essentially gets past the teleporter. Yeah, it overloads. But in the meantime, the climber goes into the teleporter, followed by the disarmor. So yes, there's this terrain here that blocks the climber from going out. So yes, this is more than enough time to give the disarmor a head start in order to disarm all these traps before the others arrive. So the climber just climbs up and then he just turns back around. And in the meantime, the disarmor just bashes through the pillars. And then now he's just gonna proceed to disarm all these traps. And that's it. Oh, and also the climber that turned around, yeah, he drops down here, comes up here. And we need to give him a shimmer so that he does not fall back down the splat. Because, yeah, if we do this here, yeah, it's just barely still splat height. So therefore, a shimmer is necessary so that he goes over here and drops down here safely. Yeah, which is not a splat fall. Okay, and that's it. So, quite a nice level here. But yes, I did find this deceivingly difficult. Okay, Route 1-3, The Four Corners of Cloud 7, and this is by Icho. And as usual, I was the pre-tester for all his contest levels. This one I found surprisingly difficult as well. But that's probably because I made the solution far more complicated than I needed to. Yes, so here we start with a pre-assigned swimmer up here, a pre-assigned disarmor, a pre-assigned swimmer, and a pre-assigned floater. So yes, as you can see, there are 4 buttons scattered around the level, each of which can only be reached by a certain specialist. Yeah, this here can only be reached by a floater. This over here can only be reached by a climber. This here can only be reached by a swimmer. And this here can only be reached by a disarmer. So yes, despite the 5 of everything skill set except for the shimmers, where you double the amount, yeah, I found this one surprisingly difficult. Well, Icho himself, yeah, pretty much assessed this to be not that hard at all. But again, it's like I said, I probably made the solution much harder than I needed to. So yes, anyway, we start with the pre-assigned swimmer, and I fence up. Yes, and then after a bit, then I go ahead and bash. Yeah, it's just a long basher section here. Oh, and yes, I interrupt him with a shimmer. Hold on a second. Oh yes, and then I go ahead and mine here. And yeah. So after 1 or 2 strokes, yeah, then I go ahead and fence with the pre-assigned floater here. Yes, and then I start bashing with the what is he? I think he's the pre-assigned disarmer. Yeah, then I bash with him. Yeah, after the fencer has gone for a while. Yes, that is the pre-assigned disarmer. And then, yes, here I interrupt the fencer mid-stroke with a shimmer. Okay, then I think I just simply wait for the miner to finish. Yeah, it appears to be so. So yes, essentially the fencer and miner tunnels connected with one another so that the floater can get up here into the miner tunnel. And then here I release the pre-assigned disarmer with a miner. And then when the miner reaches here, I go ahead and dig down. This is to make a climber-friendly wall for the climber. Yes, and then with the floater, I go ahead and give him a shimmer so that he goes across the basher tunnel at the very top. Okay, and then the climber is now able to get himself out. And then, yeah, I go ahead and bash with the disarmer. And then with the pre-assigned swimmer, I go ahead and fence to the right. Because otherwise, he's just going to walk into one of the traps that hasn't been disarmed. Yeah, and the disarmer needs plenty of time to reach all of them. So after the climber turns around up here, I give him a shimmer. Oh, and yes, with the pre-assigned floater, I go ahead and bash with him. So yes, he gets down here safely and pushes this button. The disarmer is now done, so he pushes this button here. And yeah, there are some traps here, however, they are not reachable because of the fact that this area is enclosed by steel everywhere. So yes, just for when he's here, I go ahead and dig with him. And yeah, I interrupt the fencer mid-stroke with a shimmer as well. And yes, I bash with the pre-assigned swimmer. And then once the digger is low enough, I go ahead and fence up with him. And then go ahead and mine here. And then I go ahead and give him a shimmer so that he can get over and push this button. The climber does. The swimmer, in the meantime, just swims across and pushes that button. And now he's going to go ahead and swim back. Yes, I give him a shimmer. Fence up. Interrupt and mid-stroke with a shimmer. And yeah, this is the disarmer. And then, yeah, I go ahead and dig down with the fencer here. Yep. With this button push, it unlocks the exit. And then we're going to go ahead and give the climber a shimmer so that he doesn't fall down and splat. Okay, and then I go ahead and dig here. With the swimmer, I go ahead and give him a shimmer so that he is able to step up into the fencer tunnel. What happened? I believe that was the, yeah, that was the pre-assigned climber. I go ahead and make him dig so that he cancels out the first digger. Yeah, and also to make a low step here so that when the swimmer makes his way across, he'll have a step to land on before falling the rest of the way down and doesn't splat. So, finish this with 2 miners left over. And how close was this? Pretty close to spot height, but yeah, there was a couple pixels leeway there. But yes, the reason why I found this to be pretty hard was just the fact that I did some skill interruptions mid-stroke with a shimmer. And Icho has said that that is not required at all. So, and therefore, there can be plenty of situations where that can lead you into suboptimal routes, and therefore leading to some pumps. Rule 1-4, no other lemming is going to do that. So another low in the cloud tile set. This happens to be the third one. Yeah, for rule 1. So here we have a pre-assigned floater, a pre-assigned glider, a pre-assigned climber, and a pre-assigned slider. This is rule 1-4. So here I start with the glider, and yes, these right here are terrain. Yeah, they're not the trap triggers. Yeah, they're more yellow, and plus will give off a secondary animation. But since it doesn't do that, yeah, these are not traps. So yes, starting with gliders, and essentially I found this to be a bit harder than some of the previous levels. I think I found this one to be harder than Armani's level, and in a way also harder than Icho's as well. But in any case, at the same time, I think I also used some heavy timing here in order to make the solution work. So maybe just another case of me making the solution harder than I needed to. But anyway, yeah, we start with the glider. He will open up his glider and get pushed upward due to the updrafts. So when reaching here, we're going to go ahead and platform. And yes, at this time, I go ahead and release the pre-assigned floater with the basher. And yes, same thing with the pre-assigned glider. He bashed himself free. And then at this time, I go ahead and bash the slider free, and also the climber free. So yes, the slider is just going to go make his way out to the left here. And then here, I go ahead and platform with the climber. Yeah, the floater can just go down safely. Yeah, he's not in any danger. He's going to go ahead and platform with this gap here. And then I go ahead and platform with this gap as well. The slider, in the meantime, goes down here. And then we give him a shimmer. The climber, when he's done, he's going to go ahead and go over the top. Yeah, essentially, only this button can be reached with the climber. Yeah, I mean, you could try platforming up here. However, because of the slider is the rightmost lemming, essentially, it's going to use up way too many lemmings. Yes, and too many lemmings, too many platformers. Yeah, and so that's not the most efficient way to get up over the top to reach the button. But in any case, like I said, only the climber is the most efficient to get to the top button. So yes, so as you can all see, the 4 lemmings are doing a task in some way, yeah, and contributing to the solution in some meaningful way. And yeah, this is solid terrain here, so he's just going to hit his nose and fall back down. So he pushes that button, as I said, and then the floater will platform up this gap. Yeah, and then in the meantime, this pre-assigned climber just falls down safely due to the updrafts. But even then, yeah, this is not a splat fall at all. And so yes, he just climbs himself back out to the left. Then yeah, we go ahead and mine with the pre-assigned glider to release the other lemmings. The slider goes down here and pushes this button, and he is safely contained in this pit here. And yes, we will need the pre-assigned climber here in order to mine those 2 out. So yeah, it's essentially important here that the glider is the first one to reach over here, because only the glider can access this area here. So yes, when he turns back, we're going to go ahead and platform to the left. The floater, in the meantime, will just drop down here safely. And I believe he will just be contained with the slider. Oh, no. I already mined him free. Okay. Okay, the climber, in the meantime, has made his way to this area. So he's just going to go over the top here. No, don't release the glider. Okay. He pushes that button, so I'm going to go ahead and platform over here. Yeah, and then I mine out to the left. Yeah, this won't be a splat fall. I'll go ahead and platform up this gap here. Okay, and then platform up this gap, and then we make sure that he turns around. Yes, and then I go ahead and bash through the one-way wall here. Yes, and the climber in the meantime would take this detour, and then we go ahead and platform at this gap. Yeah, and we do it at the maximum width possible, just to delay him as much as we can. So yes, it is important that the slider and the floater get to this area, because they're the only two that can reach this area over here safely. Yeah, the climber and the glider would not be able to. The glider would just simply go into one of the traps, but the climber would just fall down and spot. So yes, slider goes out to the left, and then we give him a shimmier down here. Okay, we push this button, so he goes into this teleport and pops out here. And then I just go ahead and bash out this step here, so that he bumps into the one-way arrows and then just turns around, so that he's not able to make his way up here and get himself into danger. The flow in the meantime just goes down here. Yeah, and then I go ahead and bash with the glider, who will get over here and push the final button and unlock the exit. So now all that's left to do is to have the slider get up here to bash the rest out, and that's it. So yeah, good level here. Just I found it to be somewhat difficult, especially in planning the solution. And then once I did essentially have the essential parts down, it was just making sure that it will work by getting the essential lemmings in the correct places. In particular, the floater and the slider over here, and making sure not to get here with the climber or the glider. Now, in another solution I saw from Icho, he essentially the platformer and the miners that I used here, he essentially used the platformer here and also the miner over here. So that's pretty much the only differences. So yeah, originally I ran into problems with the timing, but then I later realized that I could simply avoid it completely, and that is the solution that you see right here. But yeah, it was definitely a tricky low. Route 15, Lemsicle, by the Tomato Watcher. Definitely easier than all the previous contests low so far, or rather up to this point. But yeah, even then, I still found this one to be a little difficult. Oh yes, and yeah, nice Nutcracker music here. So yes, what is this here? He is a pre-assigned swimmer. This is a pre-assigned climber. Yes. So we go ahead and bash through the one-way wall here. Yeah, essentially that's the only way to free him anyway. And plus, that's the only thing we can do at the start, since we only have basher as a variable. Okay, and then I go ahead and bash up here with the climber. Yeah, I just allow him to drop. Okay. Yeah, the swimmer will get on over to collect the builder pickups. So I let him go as well. And yeah, essentially here, there's only one possible spot in order to connect up here. And it pretty much has to be done, or rather, the bashing has to be done with the swimmer in such a way so that it leaves this raised area here in order to allow this to happen. So now the climber cannot get himself into danger here. So yes, here I build up with the pre-assigned swimmer. And then yeah, it looks like I used a pre-assigned climber to build up here. And then gotta make sure that he turns around. Yeah, since he cannot swim across to get the jumper pickups. Then we go ahead and build here. So yes, he can just simply climb up. So the swimmer in the meantime will go on over to collect the jumper pickups. Go ahead and bash here. Yeah, I think he would have got himself killed otherwise. So we go ahead and bash before he touches the trap trigger. And then once collecting the basher pickups and turn back to the left, we go ahead and jump. Okay, and then he can just simply jump to the exit. We don't need the pre-assigned swimmer anymore. And then once the basher is done breaking through, we go ahead and build up. Yeah, he shall not turn around. Yeah, for if he does, then he's just going to drown in the water here. Yes, and then he's just going to climb up and then turn back to the right. And then we're going to go ahead and jump so that we can get the remaining jumper pickups. And then we're going to go ahead and build here. Yep. And then we go ahead and bash to release the blocker. And then finally, all that's left to do is to jump repeatedly until we get to the exit. Oh yes, and here we need to go ahead and jump with the the normal lemming, so that he can turn around. Yep, and then we use the remaining 4 jumpers to get to the exit. So yeah, this was a surprisingly difficult level as well, or rather tricky one. Originally I tried coming from the right in order to release the blocker, but yeah, this caused some difficulties due to the ice steam blower traps here. So therefore, the only way to release the blocker was to come from the left. But even then, I found this part right here to be quite difficult. Yeah, this was pretty hard to see. Yeah, good level though. Okay, Rule 1-6. It's all a matter of spacing. So this is by WillLem. So yes, this uses the Lamina sprites. Let's go too far already. So yes, essentially, here, another condition here is that, yeah, you can have as many neutral lemmings as you want. So here, yeah, we have several here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Yeah, one of the neutrals is a pre-assigned climber. Yeah, the rest of them are normal ones, I believe. And then, yeah, we have one normal lemming here, Lamina here, sorry. And then one pre-assigned floater Lamina here. And another pre-assigned swimmer Lamina here. And a pre-assigned glider Lamina here. So yes, there's going to be plenty of moving parts here. So this one I also found to be surprisingly tricky. So yes, first thing to do is to fence here, so that there's no way for the Lamina to go into the firebox here and get herself killed. Okay, and then with the normal pre-placed Lamina here, I'll go ahead and aim a laser through these 2 floors here, so that these 2 here, or rather the Laminas that are coming from up here, will be able to fall down to this level here. And yes, when the glider is close to the pillar here, we go ahead and bomb it away, so that the others can just step over and use these teleporters. And then the swimmer is essentially safe for the time being. Yeah, she's not in any danger, but we will rescue her later on. So yes, the up traps will be used here to get the others down safely. And then yes, with the normal Lamina, I go ahead and dig down here where the up traps are. And it needs to be placed in such a way so that the Laminas that pop out from the left side will be able to use the up traps to go down here safely. Yeah, as this right here, yeah, is splat height. And yes, the up traps slow the descent of the floater. Yeah, to give the digger enough time to break through the all the terrain. As we don't want both of them going out to the left. And yes, right here, yeah, the first one reached the teleporter up here. So that causes the next one to slip on by and use this one. But I believe it will catch the next one after that. Yeah, it will. So yes, the normal digger has just dug all the way through. So we go ahead and platform up this gap. And therefore rescue this pre-assigned climber neutral before she gets into danger. And yeah. So yeah, that was the next one that got into the teleporter. So it's going to be every other Lamina here. Yeah, all the others will use this one up here. And yes, it is indeed all a matter of spacing. Yes, the pre-assigned floater will platform up this gap as well. So yes, you see what I mean? Yeah, they need to be able to use these up drops to drop down safely while spotting. So yes, all these can exit. And then with floater, I believe? Yes, because she's the only one that we can assign skills to. The others are neutrals, and so therefore we need to make sure they can get to the exit. And yes, this one essentially popped up over here, I believe, and then this one popped up over here. Yeah, this is A, and there's A. Yes, okay. So yes, with the pre-assigned floater, we go ahead and jump over the exit. And then yes, I use a jumper to get over the gap. and then I have her turn around to platform up the gap on the other side. So if you do this, yeah, then you will finish with a jumper left over. Yeah, like I did here. And then we go ahead and mine so that we can release the blocker. I mean, the swimmer. Yeah, and then we give her a swimmer, and that's it. So now these two can just simply swim to the exit. So, quite a nice one, but I also found this surprisingly tricky. As a matter of fact, I will note that the lows in this contest collection in general were all pretty difficult. Or rather, the lows as a whole, or the collection pack as a whole, was definitely harder than the some of the previous ones that I played. Yeah, so, and this certainly shows because these levels took me quite a while, and therefore, yeah, if I had done a live playthrough, yeah, it would have taken way too many videos, or at least, yeah, it would have been a long time before I started recording again, yeah, due to a lot of failed attempts, yeah, getting some of these solved. So, needless to say, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do all of these in a reasonable amount of videos or amount of time. Yeah, had I done the recording myself live, I'm solving them. Okay, and this is my contest level, which I will show off the solution to in another video, in the final video of the series, actually. So, that concludes the Route 1 lows, so tune in next time for the Route 2 lows. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.